Hello everyone, I'm Hassan Suhail. Welcome to SoloBird Academy. This is an exclusive podcast with Harshit Gautam, who is a SAT aspirant. This podcast will revolve around topics like studying abroad, international studies from India, SAT, exam, and things alike. So, Harshit, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Hassan. Thanks for inviting me.
It's been my pleasure, Harshit. Harshit, before we dive into any other topics, first tell me something about yourself.
Hello everyone. I'm Harshit Gautam, currently a 12th grade student. I'm a beginner coder, tech and AI enthusiast, and a beginner writer also. And yes, I'm also passionate about studying abroad.
That's interesting. That's quite interesting, Arshit. So, first of all, I want you to ask one thing. Why we choose studying abroad? Like, what are the perks and advantages of staying abroad?
So, the perks of studying abroad. There are multiple reasons that can answer this question. For example, we'll start with the main one, like why does someone go abroad for studies if he or she doesn't find a better university in their own country, in their own locality, or they feel like they are a better fit for those universities than the conventional ones that are present in our country? If we generally talk about India, right? The another perk could be more facilities, the infrastructure, the faculty, right?
Agree. Yeah. I want to ask that what was the actual moment when the idea of studying abroad strike you? When was that moment? Can you please share the experience?
So I'll start it from the beginning. It was 2021, and it wasn't me who got the idea about studying abroad. It was my father. These were the Diwali holidays, right? So my father just came to me and he told me about some university in Singapore, the popular one, the Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. So he told me about it, and he told me that it's one of the best universities. You have, if you have to do something in tech, be it Bachelor of Technology, Engineering, whatever, and for the internships and whatever other program. He just told me about this university that it packs a whole lot of tech stuff that I want to explore. And that's the point where I thought, okay, we actually can go abroad. But then the point, a point which everyone thinks about, the cost, right? The money that he or she had to spend to study abroad. It was a major problem that I thought of, but he didn't. He was passionate about sending me to Singapore, but there are circumstances when the topics change. And then soon the lockdown was over. We all were back to schools physical way in 2022, right? And that idea was dropped. The whole focus, like my focus was deviated from the abroad education to IIT. And it was also done by my father. I am not sure how it was done, how he told me about it, but he just told me about focusing for IIT and then I can go for masters in abroad countries, right? Abroad universities. And you know what? The whole process of class ninth to IIT, I wasn't told about how tedious it is. I was just told to get good grades, 90 to 95 percentage in all the classes from 9 to 12th, prepare for IIT from class 11, 12th, right? I was even told about uh, I was told about J in class 10. I was not sure about what are these streams, science, commerce, humanities, and it's all of this. I wasn't aware of it even in class 9. But I was told, okay, that's one of the best universities, IIT Bombay. If you reach there, everything is sorted. But the person didn't told me about how the process is, if I'm ready for it, if I'm capable of it, or maybe if I will be able to do what was my will, right? I continued with it. I got to know more about all of this stuff in class 10 because that's where it's required. Because it's in the end your choice. If you have to join some coaching, some big institute, I won't take the names, or buy some online batches or study from YouTube, some personalized coaching, etc. All of this had to be decided in the end of class 10 and the beginning of just before that 1 month holidays that we get before starting class 11. It was at that time when I had to decide where I had to go. So I have mentioned this in my upcoming book also. So I am telling about this part. I was told to get a great rank in JEE Advanced. I was told to get a great percentage in class 12th, like it was 95% or so, that I had to get at least this. I was told to prepare for IIT Bombay and then do a master's from MIT. I was told this. Can you even believe it? I wasn't aware of how the MIT atmosphere and the processes are. For those who are preparing for MIT, even they are not sure if they are ready for it or not, for the application procedure and everything, right? And you see how the manipulation worked. I prepared for J just in class 11, and I realized in class in the November, just 1 year ago, I realized that this is not for me. Because you see, everyone has their like capacity, like how much they can do, their own like saturation level is over there, right? And
Agree.
when I was told by one of my mentors, he is also the founder of Cross the Sky Limits. I'll talk about him in detail uh, in the further questions. And when I got to know about the fact that we can study abroad without giving J, because I was told that if you'll get a good percentage, a good rank in J, that will get you in abroad also universities. But the fact there are only a few universities which care for the J result, or else it's optional for them. They won't even care if you put it in the optional section, right? I was told that the boards is the main, the STAT, IELTS, TOEFL, all of these are main, and that's when I decided that okay, now I have to go abroad.
That was indeed
I
a roller coaster ride, Harshit. I totally understand that. It from beginning, from as a studying abroad enthusiast, then going back to JEE and Indian universities like IITs, very premier and very high quality in again universities, and then again jumping back to SAT and abroad universities. That was quite a roller coaster ride for you. Am I
I'd
right?
like to right. It was really a challenging journey till that point, but now I'll just talk about this in very short. That then I had to prepare for the class 11 because it's a grade where you are more into other stuff, like be it events, uh, competitions, annual functions, performances, and going out, chilling, like all of that stuff. And then the focus was just the final exams of class 11, which for me didn't go well, and for many it doesn't go well always. And now comes the class 12. I have to research about abroad universities, so I researched about them. I got myself a list, but you see, there's this thing known as if you know, people have their first plushie or first soft toy or something, some or the other toy. Like in Toy Story, it was Andy's Woody, right? The sheriff. He kept it till he went to college. That was different that he had to give it to some other child, but for many it's important, right? Such toys, such stuff, be it any other stuff also. It was with me, but with the university. I was told about NTU Singapore in 2021. I'm still affixed to that university. That okay, my main focus is this, and I'll look out for other stuff in the worst case only. So I just got myself a three university list. I also have another list if this also goes worse. So all of the research, I'll tell about it in detail in a few minutes. And that's how I came to know about the fact that SAT will help you with your board results, because many universities doesn't require the SAT if you are studying that main subject in your high school as well as English, right?
Okay, got it, got it, got it. So, Arshit, you have talked about SAT exam. Can you please tell me what is SAT exam about? What are its details and what is the pattern like?
So the SAT exam, first of all, the full form SAT, it's Scholastic Assessment Test. It's a standardized test which is taken in two forms, like the physical one and the digital one. And since last 2 years, the digital SAT is more prominent because it's a more standardized form, and it takes less time to conduct, right? It's approximately 2 hour test, and it is 1600. The score is 1600 in total. 800 is math section and 800 is English section, right? So it is the digital one is a shorter version, an adapted version. So you have to take your own device to the center. And now the exam is divided into two sections, as I told, English and math. And each section has two modules. So, like, we have to give in modules, and each module has its own timing in standardized way. So, I'll start with the English section first. And in it, as I said, there are two modules, and in each module, we get 27 questions. In total, it's 54 questions, and we get 64 minutes to do the whole section of English, right? 32 minutes in the first module, 32 minutes in the second module. And now I'll talk about how the module is standardized. There are two questions which won't be marked, right? There is no marking for those two questions in each module. Same for the maths part also. And they are just for the testing. They just test our knowledge with those two questions in each module. After the English section is over, we get a 10-minute break. We get to go to washroom, drink water, or even have some snack in the proctor's room. There's another room where we have to keep our bags and all the remaining stuff. So we can just go, we can just eat, drink, go to washroom, but we just can't touch any other stuff, be it our mobile phones, any other thing from our bags, right? Or our exam and our scores would be cancelled. So now I'll get to the maths section, and it again consists of those two modules, but surprisingly, there's a catch over here. There are only 22 questions in each module, and we get 35 minutes for each module, right? A lot of extra time. So approximately we get 1 minute and 60 seconds, right? I am not sure, like 2 minutes approximately. We get 2 minutes for each question, and right, there are 44 questions to be done 70 minutes. And again, there are two questions for the standard testing. Like 20 questions will be marked out of each module, and the remaining two questions will be will test your knowledge, right? And now I'll move on to how SAT scores are given, right? So the base starts from 400 and goes to 1600. As I told, that 800 marks is each section, English and maths, and you have to get at least 200 in each module to pass. But the reality is that no university will take that low score. The university's average score, or the bare minimum, the cutoff for different universities is different, obviously. Like for Harvard, it's 1500 plus, or I guess 1550 plus, and for many other universities, it's even less also. Like for NTU Singapore, it's 1250 plus, right? And for many universities who doesn't care about this SAT score that much, they have like a 1100 or 1000 also, right? Now the grades. So the we send the grades to universities, and it's just like an entrance test for the abroad universities. There are some universities which just wants the SAT result, the SAT score, the IELTS or the IELTS band or the TOEFL score, and they just need the extracurriculars and other details. There's no other requirement like we will need some extracurriculars in that way, this way. We need the essay, we need the LORs, we need the Olympiads. Okay, all of this stuff is over there, but not in every university. So if as I'm taking the reference with NTU Singapore over here, I'll first tell that it's at the 11th rank in the world QS ranking as of now. And yes, as I told, the SAT cutoff is 1250. The IELTS cutoff and the other TOEFL cutoff is also over there. But it's one such university which accepts, like, if I'll talk about the technical degrees, it accepts other stuff more, like the board's result, like the K-12 result, if I say in common, and the other K-12 results that other country students or the Singapore students have.
So, Arshit, you have been telling about the universities, right? So, I want you to
Correct.
tell me what are the cutoffs like? What is the average marks out of 1600 which universities want? Top universities which are from Ivy League, Harvard, and every other university to average university, what are the scores like?
So, if I talk about the great universities like be it Harvard, MIT, as you mentioned, and the Ivy League universities, it's a minimum of 1500 to 1550, I guess. Yes, for some universities, it's 1550 to 1570 also, right? They need more of the smart, the more result oriented students, right? And the average for all the universities, the average cutoff is approximately of 1350, right? And for some universities, it's a bit low also. Like if I take reference with Nanyang Technological University, Singapore, so the cutoff over there for SAT is 1250. But again, the question arrives that there is so much competition, right? But we can also take the example that if a person is getting a 1450 or a 1500, why will he or she apply to that university which has a low cutoff score? And that's the main part. If he or she gets a 1550 or plus, they'll try for the bigger universities, be it Harvard or MIT. And that's where the competition gets a bit low in universities like NTU and others. And here comes the co-curriculars. So, Hassan, I would like to tell the audience about the co-curriculars also,
Yeah, sure,
which
go
is
ahead.
almost matched with this stuff. Because if you have a great SAT score, if you have a great K-12 result of your class 12 or whatever it is in your country, and at times, if I don't talk about the IELTS, the Duolingo English test, and the TOEFL exam, I would like to directly jump on the co-curriculars because that is the IELTS part is something which is not really important to talk right now because there are MOIs. There is a letter of MOI, which is a letter of mode of instruction. So it basically tells the university, it is a letter by your school or college that is sent to those universities, and it mentions that you have done your main education in the English language only, and that's where IELTS and TOEFL don't come in. But there are universities like in Canada, in USA, in UK, and other countries which do require the IELTS and TOEFL result. But if we bypass this topic and directly jump to the co-curriculars, I would like to tell that if there are two candidates for a university and they have the same SAT, same K-12, every result is same, but there's one who is just a bit good in the programming part or the some of the other part, but the another one is a more into the co-curriculars. So by co-curriculars, I guess that most of the people might think about skills, be it programming, writing, getting certificates of different competitions, but it's not like that. This is really very different. What I got to know from my mentor, he told me that these co-curricular stuff is not just private, it's more of the public also, like the government related. If you have a certificate by the government of India or of your country, and it mentions that you have done this or done that, or if you have some other medal or something like that from a bigger university, from a bigger institution, be it the government only or any other one, that is something which is co-curriculars. Now, these two people which I talked about, one of them is just a bit good in programming and other stuff, and the other one has a certificate of an internship from some or the other good company, or be it an institution also. Like even if it's a letter of recommendation, sort of from a like a prominent person, be it the professor of some big university, like I talked about IIT Bombay and some other stuff. So that's where the co-curricular hits. The person with that certificate will be selected. And if you are the one with the programming part, you are just sitting behind.
I get it.
You
I
lag
totally get
behind.
it. That's quite an interesting thing because some people, still have the idea, have the notion that a co-curricular skills just means skills and coding and AI. If you are kind of, good with these things, then you get into these universities easily. But I don't think
I,
that is an easy case from your information, right? I want to also ask that you mentioned some of the universities. Can you please tell me what it really takes? What are the things? What are the requirements? Maybe if I'm aiming for big universities like Ivy League and Harvard, MIT, what are the things other than the K-12 score which are required, which are extremely crucial for getting admissions into these premier institutes? I want to know the requirements.
so should I talk about the general talk or the Indian way, like especially for the Indians?
I want to, know about the Indian from the Indian's perspective.
So before continuing with the university and procedure part, I would like to talk about the ACT examination also. It's the American College Testing, and it is specially for the students who want to target the American universities, right? So now I'll jump to the other part, right? So the basic procedure is none other than a simple guideline, right? There are a few steps that you have to follow. At first, if you are giving some of the other exam for the entrance, etc., you have to just okay, before anything, the research is over there. So first of all, you have to research about the universities. You have to research about the exams that you have to give or you will be giving. The co-curriculars also. At times, people apply for the co-curriculars and attempt or attend those events or so stuff at the very end point, just before applying for the unis, right? And the second part after research is the examination part, right? Whichever exam you are going to take, or if you're not going to take an exam, like some universities, if I talk about the Hong Kong University, for Indians, they just need a great percentage in the boards. They don't require any SAT or IELTS or TOEFL result. They'll and it's like on the 12th or 30th rank, 13th rank in the QS World Ranking. And you see how simple it is. So if you are someone like, it's a great opportunity if you are looking for such universities. And one such great university could be Hong Kong University, right? So as I told, that there's a basic requirement in such university. So there's also a chance that there could be very difficult procedure in some of the other lower rank university, which is not even in the top 50s. It can happen. Some of the universities in Switzerland and other countries, it happens over there, right? Now, the second part, after you have given the exam, you'll get your scores. If you're satisfied, you can continue with your procedure. You can apply to the universities in mid October, and this procedure window, this application window For many universities, it goes on till the March, in the month of March, so that one who is at first preparing for the exams, they can just finish everything and then apply for those. But it's better if you apply in October or November, and max by December. And if you are like in India, one has to give the pre-boards also in December and the January months. So it would be better if they apply for the universities before giving their pre-board examinations, because it gets hard at that time. That's the peak point, right? So there are different ways to apply in different universities. Some require a proper letter with your details and everything. Some require your details in their form. They'll just put out their online forms that you have to fill. And apart from the basic data that you have to mention, you just have to give your scores, your extracurriculars, your certifications, and the most importantly, the letter of recommendation. Even I was not sure of it, because when I had got to know about letter of recommendation, I was very happy because I had many people who were ready to write an LOR for me, and even from a bigger, better post also. Uh, right, but for many universities, it isn't the case. They just need two LORs, one from your teacher and one from your headmaster, right?
I
And
get it. I get it.
that's a
So it's
different case now,
yeah. I
because you
it's
have
kind
to
of
choose
I
the
guess
teacher.
yeah. Agree. So I don't. I think that it's quite of an early bird offer. Like while applying in the universities, it's good that you apply early. Maybe in December's or January, the first weeks of December. It's good, right? And
Right.
as you progress into the year, in the new year, you get minimal chances, or your chances get less over the period of time. Right. That's totally okay. I get it. One more thing which I want to ask you. You told about your list of universities. So what all universities you are targeting?
So, obviously, as NTU Singapore is at the top of my list, because I've been talking about it since the start of the podcast. And yes, then I have also done the whole research about it. And if we talk about the further universities in my list, in my top three list, the second one is Hong Kong University. I'm not sure about Hong Kong University and NUS, National University Singapore, because I just keep switching those two universities between the second and third position in my list. But surely, in the worst case, I'll look out for both the universities. Both are one of the best universities, and even NUS, it's at the seventh or eighth rank in the World QS ranking, right? So I'm only targeting those which I'm sure that I might be able to get, and these are my top three universities that I'll be applying for, right?
All right, got it. So now one of the most important questions in the podcast. Can you please tell me what it takes in terms of financial terms? What does it take? What is the fee structure like? What are scholarships? And what at least we need to get into universities like NTU and US, right? I just wanted to know the fee structure and scholarships. If the scholarship is only applied on tuition fees, or is it applied to the full package?
And that's a very good question that you asked about the tuition fees and the whole package. So I'll first talk about the general idea, which is that the scholarships, you have to apply for them. At times, these scholarships, you apply for them after getting into the universities, and at times you apply for them just after your college application, right? And at times it's just at the same time also, right? And these scholarships require you to be very well with your extracurriculars, your leadership skills, and in many countries there are different criterias, right? And if I talk now with reference to NTU Singapore, so I'll tell you about what the scholarship pattern over there is, and I'll try not to incline this podcast towards NTU Singapore. So the scholarships that are there at NTU, it is It is like a 50, a 100, a 50 and 100 scholarship. Like there's a 50% scholarship that you'll get, and there's a 100% scholarship also. But there are many different challenges that you have to face. At first, it's a bit difficult to get selected in such scholarships, be it of any university. It's a bit difficult because there should be a letter. There should be a proper letter about the fees of your family, about the salary structure of your family. If it's below the average that that university has kept, that is also a factor that the university will take care of while giving you the scholarship. If it's not, if you're from a well and good family, from a family background where you can just easily go to such universities, they'll more of take care not to give you the scholarship, right? And now, if I'll tell you about the pattern, most of the scholarships are applied on just the tuition fees and the living expense, the food expense, everything you have to manage on your own. And that's where it gets a bit difficult in countries like Singapore, Switzerland, and other such countries where the living expenditure is very high, right? Now, I would like to tell about the fee structure of many universities. I'm not sure, and I won't be telling some exact fee structure of a few universities like NTU or HKU, but I'll be giving a general idea of all the fee structures of different universities. If you go for a great university in a great country like be it Switzerland, be it many other countries in the Europe, the the expenditure cost, the cost of living is high. The ranking of university is also a bit high, like a bit low if we say, be it in the hundreds or in the 200s. But other stuff, including the education, that's decent and good. Then the fee structure might vary. It might be as low as 50 to 60,000 rupees a semester, right? And it might go as high as a crore, right? And most like if I talk about the general trend, about the general fee structure, it is approximately in lakhs only. If we talk about good universities with approximately 10 to 20 or maybe around 50 lakhs, it usually doesn't go that high, but it's approximately around this for an year. I'll just give an example of NTU Singapore. So the program I'm going for, the annual fees is approximately 22 to 27 lakhs an year, right? And it varies at times because every year there are different number of students, there is a different policy, and they come up with a new fee structure every year. So it can vary, right? And it varies university to university. It might happen that one of the best universities of the world, like MIT, it might have a lesser tuition fees than other universities, right? And that's the general point. It starts from 50 to 60K in Indian rupees, if I talk about, and it might go as high as a crore or 1.2 crores. I have heard this. And yes,
Now that we are quite aware of the fee structure, I want to know one more point. I have heard from many people that essays are important. I have not been into these kind of things because essays are not considered a
right,
valuable thing in our system, right? We don't uh, value essays that much. So what is the importance of essays when applying abroad?
right. Essays are important, not for all the universities, I guess, but it's a way to express yourself. In many universities, you are just given a topic or a list of topics from which you can pick and write on. Mostly, the essays are required to assess your ability, your comprehension towards that topic, right? Your writing skills, your English, and for many, it's a way to know about you. Now, the word limit. I'll talk about the general word limit that is asked in different universities. It might vary from 300 to 700 words, and For a few universities, it might be beyond this range, and it's different, right? And also, I would like to mention that many universities ask you to write about your own self, write about your family background, your education, or maybe about your extracurriculars or your personal self. Like, truly, some universities might ask that just express yourself in this essay. And that's a way they assess your, again, about you. They know about who you are and your capabilities, yeah, like your skills and everything, right?
Yeah, I get it. Harshit, I also want to ask you, how has your experience been? How has your experience of preparing for SAT exam and researching have been?
So I was, I'll tell about this in short. I had started to prepare for this SAT, for the August SAT in the end of June and like, or maybe the start of July. And I was preparing for it till the August started. I hadn't registered for the exam yet because I was waiting for some waivers that my mentor would be providing me. But then some of the other circumstances came and I had to quit that SAT, and my parents didn't let me do that. But my uncle supported me in the further SAT exams, and I registered for the October SAT in September while he helped me with the fees and everything. But surprisingly, I got a special waiver which got me two SAT examinations within a single fee, and that was again provided by my mentor. So in that, I got the October SAT as well as the November SAT for a very low fees. And my experience, right? I was studying for SAT in July, but I hadn't prepared much. My exams, the practice tests or say mock tests, they weren't going so well. But then when I was beginning with the preparation after my half yearlies, I barely had 2 weeks to prepare for the October SAT, and I had just put out approximately a week or more than that for the math section. I wasn't practicing the English section that much, and that's where I was hold down in the October SAT. So I'll just share my October SAT experience. I had got my center in Noida. It's Prometheus School, Noida, right? And a very good center. If you're around Noida and all, I would suggest you to please take that center. A very well designed area and a great code of conduct, the discipline and everything. And there's this thing in site examination that we say the bring your own charger, but you won't be guaranteed a charging slot. Maybe there's no plug or extension around, and you are just sitting with your laptop, which has been shut down due to the battery purposes. And that's where many schools and many centers are very good. So the experience, the discipline was nice. Everything was very smooth. There will be instructions given by the proctor. So, like, there's this invigilator in our exams. We say proctor in those exams, right? In most of the digital exams, we call it a proctor, where you are giving on your own device. The instructions will be given, the code will be given to you for entering in your Blue Book software. And this is a software that you have to give your exam and your mock test in. I'll talk about it in a bit. And yes, I had got a 1260 in the October SAT, a 740 in the math section out of 800, and a 520 in the English section. And this shows how my English has had got within those 2 weeks. But then I had a whole month from which I am studying since 2 weeks once again. But this time I'm mainly focusing on the English part, and I am appearing in the November SAT on 8th of November. So let's see what will happen. So I'll tell you about the Blue Book exam application. It's basically available on both Mac, Chromebook, Windows, everything that any OS that you have. I'm not sure about Linux or something else, but right. and it's where you have to make your account. Like first you have a college board account, obviously, for the SAT examination. It is a body which does this SAT examination, and after you have this application, after you log in with your college board credentials, you just have two sections. One where you can see the examinations, the upcoming ones, and one is where you can practice. A full length practice test is over there where this approximately 2 to 2.5 hour test, you can practice it in a whole sitting. That same way the final one is done, right? And this is very simple. And I would like you to I would like to tell you that there's this calculator known as Desmos that is given to you in the math section. It's a graphing calculator that is given to you, and it's the best. It's something that saves you a lot of time. I'll tell my experience. Just use the calculator for equations, for circle questions, for many such questions. It would be great if we could have a separate video about just the uh, proper study of SAT examination, right? If Hassan would like to do such
We can do
videos,
that for sure in the future as
right,
well. If sometime we get the time to get that. Yeah, sure.
right,
That will be totally helpful for
because
the people who are appearing for SAT and exams alike.
right, because it's not too late. You are maybe you'll apply later. Maybe you'll apply in March, so you have the time. If you are not someone who is giving JMAs in the January, or you have a lot of time in between, you can just prepare. Right? It's not difficult if you are a and if you are a math student.
Yes.
It's very basic maths,
Hmm.
but still, this calculator helps a lot, and we don't have enough time to talk about it. It's a whole new chapter, right?
Agree.
And if I talk about myself, this calculator had helped me in the first module of maths a lot because 7 minutes were remaining, and I was just sitting idle with nothing to do, waiting for the module time to end. The timer in the application, we can't move further unless it itself ends, right? And in the second module also, it helped me a lot, but not that much. And in the English section, I'll just mention about there's a section called highlighters. You can just highlight some text in the comprehension questions. You can highlight those main idea of the text so that when you look at the options, you can just have a look at those highlighted points. That okay, the author told this part in that line, and I have highlighted that, and that's what the question is asking, and it comes handy. You can also add sticky notes, etc. And now I would like to tell that my overall experience was really great. It was a whole new experience for me and for everyone who is giving this ad for the first time. And now that I'm well versed with the procedures, for the second attempt, I'll be appearing. Surprisingly, I have the same center, so it's a bit more easy for me and more like I'll be more comfortable in that way. So I'll just tell about a few rules for this ad. Number one rule, you must not have any other application open in your device. The Blue Book application, as soon as the exam will start, as soon as the timer will start, it will run a whole scan over your device all the time. And if it detects any other application, and okay, glitches come everywhere. Sometimes some application opens on its own if your device is not that great. It happens on Windows a lot, right? So be aware of that, right? The scores will be cancelled if you are caught doing that. If you're caught cheating by the proctor, like the invigilator, your scores will be cancelled. And also, if you do any such stuff like bring your phone or any other device or such thing, you'll again be punished with cancelling your scores. And that's it, I guess.
That's quite a strict policy. And it is quite necessary for
Right.
the people who are appearing for SAT because it's again a very crucial exam and it's a very crucial step in their careers, right? Now the next question will be very much helpful for the upcoming, the SAT, maybe who are preparing for SAT, who are about to prepare for SAT. What are the common mistakes which a SAT aspirant should avoid in order to get the highest score possible?
So One such mistake which I felt for others out there, for the tutors and all, it's not a mistake. But how am I so sure that it is a mistake? Because I myself have done it. So just don't focus on giving the practice tests. Many tutors or many mentors, even my mentor told me that just give the practice exams, just to do the practice tests on the Blue Book, on the other applications, Khan Academy, Test Prep, Blue Prep, everything. But it doesn't help that much. You have to actually look into the syllabus. Just get yourself the SAT syllabus from the College Board website and just prepare for the topics that I mentioned. If I show this book that I had purchased for my site preparation, there's a whole section which mentions the syllabus, right? The English, the math, like there are four major portions in math: algebra, advanced maths, data solving and word problems, something like that, and then comes the geometry and trigonometry. So, like, there are four big topics, big chunks, and there are multiple different topics within linear equations, linear functions. Then comes in geometry, be it like circles, parabola, and everything. And in advanced math, quadratics and all. And many topics are something that you must have read in class seventh or eighth, like the rates, percentages, ratios. Those are simple stuff, like proportions, right? All of this is basic. So first, focus on the syllabus. Focus on getting those key points of every topic. Like if this is statistics, focus on the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variances, and all the central tendencies that it has. What is the sample space in probability? What is the sample space? What are independent probability? What is like independent event, dependent, and what are other stuff in the topics? Absolute value, mod functions. Focus on the graphs, how it looks. Although you have the calculator in that, and then what comes next? Then comes the English. Focus on the main part in English, like it is comprehension, it is conventions of grammar, like the English grammar. There are many questions of that, and there's a whole lot of stuff in there. So number one, just don't focus on looking out for questions and everything. Focus on the syllabus and the stuff that do you actually know the concept? Because even if they are trick questions, if you know the base, you can do them. That's what's simple, right? You have to be calm. People panic while time is less, right? You see that, okay, in the English section, 32 minutes over there. Now, just 5 minutes are left. I have three questions, three comprehension questions with big paragraphs in them, and I have to do this quickly. Just focus on the not so big question, because the bigger the question, the difficult the question gets, the lower the marks is. Quite different, right? And that's the case. We are told to do the scoring questions first, which are the quick ones, because those are the trick ones. They try to just sort of cheat, you see. And the third mistake, okay, the second mistake was to not panic and be calm, do the stuff that you know, and put the bare minimum time, the required time in those remaining questions. Then comes the last mistake that I would like to mention. I will not go into the deep matrix of the mistakes that one does, but these are the main ones. The third one is test yourself the right way, right? Don't just do the practice test and the way that we can pause right now. My mother is calling me. I have to go. Like you practice sample papers for your boards, for your other examinations, practice it like that way. Sit for those 2.5 hours, sit in a chair and table with your device, with no other application open, be it WhatsApp or Google, nothing should be on. Because in the practice time when you practice on the blue book, you get to switch the windows, right? So take care of the rules and regulations, sit with that environment, silence, sit with your device fully charged if possible, because you might not know that the center is accompanied with the charging slots or not. So these were some few mistakes. I'll summarize them. Number one, don't just focus on practicing, focus on the concepts. Because I got a 740 because I didn't focus more on the questions. I was just reading out the topics. I was just studying the concepts because you will forget after these years. You just forget those concepts, right? The second mistake, don't panic because it's again a standardized test. You have to do your best in the first module to not get uh, like weird questions in the second module, right? Of each section. So don't panic, be calm and do the test because in the end it will harm you only, right? So yeah, and all such mistakes and other such mistakes which are very common and done by many people, you'll get a whole list, you'll get a whole database of such mistakes that is done. But do focus on these main mistakes. And yes,
Now, Arshit, one more question which I was thinking that the viewer should know, right? So, can you please tell me some recommended resources for preparation of SAT exam? Any online resources which you have referred, or any books which you have referred to, or any YouTube or any other lectures which you have referred to?
so I'll start with the YouTube part, the media content. There's not much content online, but obviously, most of it which is available for free on YouTube, like the Desmos, the calculator of which is available. There's a whole 20 to 20-minute guide by Learn Sat Math. The link will be in the description of this podcast. We'll add it, and he's the best. His videos got over 1.7 million views. Like approximately 17 lakh SAT aspirants have watched that video just to ace the Desmos calculator. There are many more resources for English and for maths and everything. And there are many other YouTubers like Penguin Test Prep and Strategist Tech, Strategic Test Prep and other foreign YouTubers which focus on this. But if I talk about other online resources like websites, one of the best websites which everyone talks about is Khan Academy. If you focus on the syllabus, if you are not using any other separate book or something, it is the place where it will teach you every other concept required for the exam in a format, in a lecture, then test, and a proper digital format that you can practice. But if I talk about books that you can purchase, ebooks or even in the physical format, the best book is the official digital SAT guide, the study guide that is provided by the College Board. It's a bit expensive, like it goes over 2 to 3,000 rupees on Amazon and Flipkart if you check out. But if we move on further, the best resources are Kaplan, like the book I just showed you. This is of Kaplan, the digital SAT total prep, and Kaplan is one of the best resources for overall stuff, even for just the math stuff, right? If you want to study maths. Now, if I talk about the Princeton Review, if you are a SAT aspirant too, and you're watching this, you must have heard about the Princeton Review books. It is also one of the best book to go with. Then comes the Baron. If you have heard about the brand Barons, it's mostly used for the language guides, the French, German, and all these languages. For these, Barons is mostly used. And in the end, it comes Erica Meltzer and the SAT Prep Black Book. Like for J aspirants, there is the Maths Black Book, if you have heard about it. Like that, there is a Black Book in SAT Prep also. It's also really very good, but I would suggest to go with Kaplan, Barron's, and the Princeton Review. And if you just want to focus on English, just blindly go with Erica Mills. It has reading separate book for reading, separate for writing, separate for vocabulary also. And as vocabulary is one of the most crucial part of this examination, right? So these are some resources I would suggest. And I hope Hassan would help me attach the links of all these resources in in this
Yeah,
description.
sure, Arshit. That will be of very help, right? So,
Right.
now the last question of the day, Harshit. Any advice you want to give to the future SAT aspirants?
Okay, so my advice would be to start early, not that early like the J aspirants, not that early, but start early. As soon as you get into your 12th grade, you just get into it because for most of the people, the SAT isn't like good for them in the first place, right? What if you get to know that the ACT is better for you according to the syllabus, etc.? And like I got 1260 in the first, uh, I might get 1400 in the second. Might get, right. So it's not always the first attempt that will get you the best results. That's the reason you have to start early so as to get to the best. And then one has to just stay consistent because if you'll just put it off after getting your scores and you just put it off key, like just wait for November, I'll apply in November, my scores are here in August, so I can chill till then. No, it's not the case. You have to be consistent with your research. What if some stuff, some policies or the other information changes for the university you're applying for, right? Don't panic about scores. It what if your K-12 result, your board's results, or other such result, when it comes in May or June, what if that changes the whole pattern, right? So low scores might be accompanied with such high scores, right? And yes, my final advice would be to focus, focus, and maintain discipline, right?
Thank you so much, Harshit, for that beautiful advice to all the young future SAT aspirants, right? Thank you so much for
Right.
tuning in. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for giving your time in this podcast. And I
Thank
thank
you
all the
very
viewers
much.
for staying in touch, for staying to this long. And this podcast has been quite a long one, but again, it is quite helpful for all the people who are preparing for SAT and exams alike. Thank you so much, Harshit.
And I would like to mention that if it would be possible, we'll surely bring a SAT specific
For sure.
podcast, right?
Yeah,
And
I would love to
yes,
do that,
thank you
Harshit.
very much,
Yeah,
Hassan, for
for sure.
inviting me. I hope the students and the viewers watching this might get at least 1% of help, and that would be a lot to me, right?
I'm quite optimistic
And
about that.
through
Yeah.
your channel, through SoloBird Academy, I'm able to express what all of this procedure is about with the audience, right?
That has been my pleasure, Harshit. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.